With other dogs, he will either pull towards them and want to play, or just look in their direction and kind of pull like he wants to go up to them and play. Or we will walk past a dog on the street and he will just ignore them. There is a dog a few houses up from me which is usually always in the window, and when we go past, the dog will jump up at the window and bark at him, but he just kind of jumps up back, barks and wags his tail, then we can move on. But that's all that really happens there. But the other day I was taking him for a walk and I saw a man with another bulldog, which was a French bulldog, one of those little ones with the bat type ears. Anyway, he was walking towards me as I was walking the dog down the street, and he just says, "Oh, big monster one," which I'm kind of used to by now because he's a big dog, so people will make comments. But I just pulled him on the lead in the other direction so we could go away from the dog, because I didn't know if the other dog was going to be friendly, and he can be a bit boisterous, which can give people the wrong impression. So I tend to feel that it's best to avoid other dogs where I can, in case anything happens on either end. Because you never know how he's going to be. Sometimes he'll just want to play, and other times he'll just ignore them. So I felt it's best to just walk away and across the street. There were two other dogs across the street, which were little chihuahuas. But they were right down the other end of the street, so it would have just been safe for me to cross over and just walk down. He has met one of my neighbours who has two little dogs, and he's just sniffed at them and wagged his tail, and he was fine with them. But anyway, I was walking him away from this man, and I didn't expect it, but he just pulled back towards the dog and sort of like bounced and got on top of the dog, and he was like all bouncing around him, but the other dog was not liking it and trying to retreat, and he was just bouncing, and from what I can see and what I've researched online, wanting to play with him, because his hackles were not raised, he was not growling or snapping, anything like that. So I was just trying to pull him off, and the man who was walking the other dog actually kicked him twice. So anyway, I just pulled him off again and crossed over the other street. Then the man just started shouting and shooting his big fat mouth off at me. He was a blonde man, somewhere about my height, with a beard, But as I was pulling the dog away and we were crossing over the street, he started shooting his mouth off, saying, "You need to get control of that dog." And I said, no, I don't. I have got control over him. And then he started shouting, saying that the dog needs a muzzle and all that. And I just walked over the street and was walking back towards my house. And then he was on the phone to somebody and started shouting and calling me names and stuff like that. If the man had any brains, he would be able to tell the difference between dog play and dog fighting. But he couldn't because he's a dumb baby.
Earthquake factory? Oh, brother. You babies are so dumb. I'm surprised you know which end of the bottle to suck. Everybody's got to get their...
Anyway, he just started shouting, calling me a lot of names which I can't remember, and was on the phone to somebody shouting down the phone. I looked over and gave him a dirty look, and he went, what, want to start something? I'm gonna kick your dog, and I'm gonna kick you. And then, he just started shouting and saying stuff like that over and over again. And because he started shouting at me, I have got a really nasty temper anyway. I inherited my temper from my late father. So I just started, I basically lost my temper and I started shouting back at him. I was kind of staying away from my house and not going in till he had gone because I didn't want him to know where I live and ring the police telling them a pack of bullshit lies.